There is a place on Earth where nature still keeps secrets that remain almost untouched by human hands. A rainforest so vast that parts of it are still being explored today. A land where dark rivers wind for thousands of kilometers through one of the richest ecosystems on the planet. From above, the Amazon seems endless. An ocean of emerald green broken only by winding rivers that carry water, nutrients, life, and stories that have been passed down for generations. For the people who call this rainforest home, these rivers are ancient highways. Every day, small wooden boats travel routes that existed long before the first cities were ever built. Fishermen, researchers, and riverside communities all depend on these waters to live, work, and travel. At first glance, everything appears peaceful. The surface is calm. The reflections of towering trees transform the river into a nearly perfect mirror. But just a few inches beneath the surface, an entirely different world begins. The Amazon's dark waters conceal submerged branches, tangled roots, and countless animals that are rarely seen by human eyes. Many of them spend their entire lives avoiding any encounter with people. Along the riverbanks, families of capybaras take advantage of the cool morning hours to drink, remaining constantly alert to every sound around them. High above, scarlet macaws cross the sky in pairs, while troops of monkeys move effortlessly through the forest canopy before the tropical heat settles over the jungle. Everything seems to exist in perfect balance. Every species has its place. Every movement follows an invisible rhythm that has shaped this rainforest for millions of years. But there is one unwritten rule shared by nearly every creature that lives here. Never let your guard down. Because somewhere beneath these dark waters, a predator waits. One that rarely needs to chase. Rarely needs to fight. And almost never reveals its presence. It simply waits. Perhaps that is exactly why so few people ever see it. While our eyes are drawn to the birds overhead, the monkeys in the trees, and the breathtaking beauty of the rainforest, something else remains perfectly still beneath the surface, blending seamlessly with fallen logs, tangled roots, drifting leaves, and shifting shadows. Hidden in complete silence. Almost invisible. And it is here, in these mysterious waters, that the story of one of the Amazon's greatest predators truly begins. In the next moments, we will discover that beneath the calm surface of this seemingly peaceful river lies a giant that has mastered one extraordinary ability. The ability to disappear. For millions of years, survival in the Amazon has depended on one simple ability. Knowing when something isn't right. Long before a predator is ever seen, the forest begins to notice. A ripple appears where the water should be perfectly still. A flock of birds suddenly changes direction. Small fish scatter without warning. Capybaras stop drinking and stare toward the river in complete silence. None of these animals know exactly what is approaching. But instinct tells them they should pay attention. The Amazon is a place where even the smallest disturbance can mean the difference between life and death. Every movement matters. Every sound carries information. Even silence has meaning. For the predator hidden beneath the water, that silence is an advantage. It does not rely on speed. It does not chase. Instead, it allows the forest to hide it. Roots become camouflage. Floating leaves become cover. The reflections on the dark water erase the outline of its body. To an untrained eye, there is nothing unusual to see. Just another fallen tree. Just another shadow beneath the surface. Just another quiet morning in the rainforest. But nature is full of invisible conversations. The capybaras remain alert. The fish have already disappeared. The birds have become quieter. The river itself seems to slow down. Something is there. Hidden only a few centimeters below the surface. Watching. Waiting. Almost impossible to detect. And then, for the briefest moment, the forest reveals its secret. Two amber eyes appear above the black water. Perfectly still. Almost invisible. Patient enough to remain motionless for hours. This is not simply one of the largest snakes on Earth. It is one of nature's greatest masters of invisibility. And we are only beginning to understand how extraordinary it truly is. The attack itself lasts only a few seconds. But what follows is the result of millions of years of evolution. Contrary to popular belief, the green anaconda does not rely on crushing bones. Instead, its extraordinary strength allows it to hold its prey securely while preventing it from breathing normally. It is an efficient strategy that requires remarkably little energy. For an ambush predator, conserving energy is every bit as important as finding food. A single successful hunt may provide enough nourishment for weeks, sometimes even months. That means the anaconda can spend long periods resting quietly beneath the flooded forest, avoiding unnecessary movement while waiting for another opportunity. Its metabolism is perfectly adapted to this lifestyle. There is no need for constant activity. No need to patrol territories. No need to chase prey across great distances. Everything about this giant has evolved around patience. Once feeding is complete, the rainforest slowly returns to its familiar rhythm. Fish begin to swim through the flooded roots once again. Birds resume their calls from the canopy. Capybaras cautiously approach the riverbanks. To anyone arriving only a few minutes later, nothing would seem unusual. The forest looks exactly as it did before. But beneath the surface, the giant is already disappearing. Its enormous body melts back into the tangled roots, the drifting leaves, and the dark water that has protected it for millions of years. Soon, even the faint outline of its body is gone. Only silence remains. And somewhere beneath these mysterious rivers, the invisible hunter waits once again. For centuries, stories of enormous snakes have echoed throughout the Amazon. Indigenous communities, river guides, and explorers have long spoken of giant serpents disappearing beneath the black waters, leaving behind little more than ripples and unanswered questions. Some of these stories have undoubtedly grown with time. Others, however, began with something very real. The largest green anacondas ever scientifically documented are already among the heaviest snakes on Earth. Yet studying them remains one of the greatest challenges in tropical wildlife biology. Unlike lions on the African savanna or wolves crossing snowy forests, anacondas spend most of their lives hidden beneath dark water, flooded vegetation, and remote wetlands that are incredibly difficult to access. Researchers may spend weeks navigating isolated rivers without seeing a single large individual. Not because the snakes are absent, but because they are almost impossible to detect. Even modern technologies such as drones, GPS tracking, underwater cameras, and satellite imagery reveal only a fraction of what these flooded forests conceal. There are still countless rivers that have rarely, if ever, been studied in detail. Thousands of hidden lakes. Endless flooded forests. Entire ecosystems where nature continues to exist beyond the reach of human observation. Perhaps that is what makes the Amazon so extraordinary. Not that it answers every question, but that it continues to create new ones. Somewhere beneath these dark waters, another giant may already be waiting. Perfectly still. Perfectly hidden. Invisible once again. And while science continues uncovering the mysteries of the rainforest, one thing remains certain. The Amazon is still writing stories that no camera has ever captured. Thank you for joining this journey into one of the most fascinating ecosystems on Earth. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to follow future expeditions into the hidden world of the Amazon. Because our next journey leads to another silent predator. One that has ruled these waters for millions of years. The black caiman.